Hello, my name is Jessica, and today we're going to do a practice that's based upon inversions. So you'll want to make sure that you've got two blocks. If you don't have blocks, pillows might work for that. And then you'll want a strap. And if you don't have a strap, probably a belt will work, or a TheraBand will work, or maybe even a long tie, but we're going to use the strap or long tie thing in a number of ways. You'll also want to make sure you have access to a wall and or a corner in case if you want to do some of the inversions with the support of a wall. All right, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. And I encourage you to lie down on your backs with your straps somewhere handy. And the first thing that you'll do when you lie down on your back is just walk your feet outside of your hips, let your knees knock in, and plant one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. Remove any of the additional flesh that you don't need underneath your shoulders, and you'll just take a moment to come into your breath. Take a few big breaths in and a few big breaths out. And then you'll start to close the lips if the mouth is open. Slightly constrict and tone the back of the throat and find your Ujjayi pranayama. And as you come into your Ujjayi, you want to see if it can be at the back of the epiglottis or maybe even up into the nasal pharynx. And you'll just take a few breaths there. Starting to even out the in-breath. And even out the out-breath. Finding what's called samavriti, so equal standing limbs. Meaning the in-breath and the out-breath are the same length. Gently you'll walk your feet so they're in line with your hip sockets. You'll go ahead and find your strap. And my strap already has a loop in it, so I'm going to undo that just so we're all on the same page. But you'll undo your strap and bring one end of the foot, or rather, bring the foot into the strap, keeping one end of the strap in each of your hands. And you'll notice here that we'll pause. You'll press up through your big toe mound. You'll pull down through the fourth and fifth, and you'll see if you can slide your thigh bone back so your thigh is perpendicular to the floor. Now here you can pull down, and then it'll feel like the strap is pulling the ball of the foot, but you're still pushing up, and then the whole thigh bone is rooting down into the pelvis. And you might stay there, or you might slide your left leg long. And if the left leg goes long, you'll push out through the big toe mound of both feet. You'll roll the inner thighs towards each other, and then you'll see if you can keep pulling the fourth and fifth toes back on both feet. Now, as we take the next few breaths here, some of you will stay right at that 90-degree angle. Some of you will find that as you really focus on deepening the breath, your right leg will naturally find the ability to move towards you. And it's not because you're forcing or pulling, it's just that as you're here and as the breath deepens, the body starts to open. Three more breath cycles here. Inner thighs spiral towards each other. Make sure the neck is long. Last breath cycle. Now from here, you'll draw the thigh back up to perpendicular, and you'll start to cross your right leg over to the left side of your body. And as the right leg goes towards the left, you'll find that the left elbow can come down first, and then I start to inchworm my shoulders towards the left. So sometimes you'll pick up your pelvis and shift it towards the right first, but we've just shifted our rib cage towards the left, and it gets the same action. And then roll the inner thighs towards each other. press out through your big toe and see if you can draw your top hip, your right hip, away from your right side body, and you'll breathe. Allow the right shoulder to descend towards the floor. And the rotation's happening across the abdomen. Next in breath, you'll come back through center. So the right leg will come up to vertical. You'll have to inchworm your rib cage back towards the right. From here, both ends of the strap come into your right hand. Your left hand comes to the top of your left thigh. Flex through both feet. Press the left heel down. Push the right heel forward. And then spin your right heel in a bit so that your right toes point towards your right shoulder. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, press into the left thigh, push into the back of the left heel, push into the left thigh bone or hamstrings, and you'll open the right leg as far as it goes towards the right without you losing the length on the right side body and without you losing the weight in the left hip. Two more breath cycles here, pushing out through the ball of your big toe, pulling the fourth and fifth toes back on both feet. Next in breath, draw the right leg back up to vertical. And then you'll pause, you'll bend the right knee, you'll draw the knee in towards your chest, and you'll release the right foot to the floor so the sole places down on the floor. And then you'll step the left foot in to meet the right. Notice the difference between your right and your left sit bones. And then we'll go ahead and try the other side. So you'll pull your left knee into the chest. You'll bring the strap across the ball of your left foot. And I like to make sure it's across the ball of my the ball of the foot, because it just makes it a little easier. And then make sure the shoulder blades slide away from the ears. Push up through the ball of your big toe mound and make sure that left leg is perpendicular to the floor and you're just pulling it straight down. And then you might extend the right leg long beneath you, pressing down into the right heel as much as you push forward to the left, rolling your inner thighs towards each other. And then this is just following the breath. So the more you can deepen the breath, the more the left hamstring has the capacity to open. Keep rolling the inner thighs towards each other. On your next in breath, draw the left leg up to vertical. Draw both ends of the strap into your right hand, and then you'll start to cross the left leg towards the right side of the body, and the right elbow hits. So you might start to walk your whole rib cage more towards the right, and then that left leg just kind of hovers. The left hip draws away from the left waist. You're just pausing and you're breathing. This is called Supta Hasta Padangusthasana Variation B. That's a mouthful. Prior to that, we did variation A. And when we come up, we're going to do variation C. Next in breath, come back up through center. Walk your rib cage and shoulders back over towards the left. Draw both ends of the strap into your left hand. Right hand comes to the top of your right thigh. First things first, make sure the inner thighs are rolling down. Push down into the right heel. Push up through the left heel and then spin your heel in. From here, you'll start to externally rotate the left thigh. So we are not trying to get the left leg to the floor. We're allowing the left femur to work into the socket at our degree. And we'll just open the left leg to the left, keeping the whole right half of the pelvis rooted and thinking of pulling your left low belly towards the right. One more breath cycle here. Outer left hip swoops down and away from left waist. Inhale, come up through center. As you exhale, bend the knee, draw the left knee into the chest, and then release the left foot to the floor. From here, you can discard your strap, and then you'll walk both feet in. One at a time, you'll draw one knee into your chest, and then you'll draw the other knee in towards your chest. Bring both hands to the inside edges of your knees and thighs. Grab the outer edges of your feet. Flex through your feet a lot, so your pinky toes are pulling in line with your knees, and push out through the balls of your big toes. Now start to extend your legs by drawing your knees towards the floor. And your knees will just extend to about a 90-degree angle. Keep the neck long, keep the collarbones open, and some of you will stay right here. Sacrum is rooted to the floor, and you'll just pause and you'll breathe. And some of you will extend one leg out. So I started with my right, and you'll bend it in, and then you'll extend the other leg out. And you'll bend it in, and then maybe you'll extend both legs out. So you'll notice that if both legs go out, they're pretty much back to wherever you may have been in Supta, Hasta, Padangusthasana, variation C. Now you're just doing it on both legs. Awesome. Very gently bend the knees. Hug the knees back in towards each other, and you'll just pull your knees into your chest for a little compression. You might rock a little right to left, or you might stay completely still. When you're ready, soles of the feet come back to the floor. Cross your right thigh over like you're sitting in a dress of French Riviera. Engage your abdomen to draw the knees towards your chest, and then you can bring your hands to the front of your left shin. Some of you will happily stay right here. Some of you will turn your palms to face up. You'll flex through both of the feet, and you'll grab the underside of your heels. From there, you'll push out through the balls of your big toe mounds and start to widen your ears to the right and to the left like happy little Dumbos. And this is Supta Gomu Asana. And you'll just pause and you'll breathe. Very gently, you'll release. You'll uncross your legs and bring the feet back to the floor. Now left leg crosses over like you're sitting in a cute dress, very casually, French Riviera. Belly draws in, knees draw in, hands come to front of right shin bone, and maybe you hang out here, circling your ankles. Some of you will turn your palms to face up. You'll flex through both feet. Hands will come to the underside of your heels, and then you'll start to push, kick out into your heels as you pull your heels towards your shoulders, or rather opposite shoulder. And you're just gonna pause, and you're gonna breathe and say hello to your outer hips. Very gently, you'll release. Release the right foot to the floor, uncross the left leg, and then widen your feet outside of your hips. You'll let the knees knock in, and you'll take a moment to slowly windshield wiper one way, and then windshield wiper the other. The next time your legs happen to fall over towards the first side, you'll continue to roll towards that side, coming to a soft semi-fetal position. And then you'll use your hands to bring your spine up to sit. Great. So we're going to take a few seated postures that for some of us might be pretty challenging. So a blanket would be opportune for that. And I typically start with it quartered, and then I fold it again. So I guess that makes it 8. And then I fold that again, and so that makes it about 16. For some of you, that will work perfectly well. For some of you, you'll want to sit on a block. I will sit on a block since I asked you to get that. And again, you can sit on a pillow or anything that's firm like that. So from here, you're going to tuck your left leg underneath and then cross your right leg over. And on this block, it's a fun little situation where you want to make sure that both of your sit bones are equally rooted. And we'll pause here for a moment. Some of you will notice that this is already a lot that's happening for you, and so you might not go any further. You might instead extend your bottom leg out. And if you do that, I highly encourage you to come off that block for most of you, unless you're on a blanket, and then you can stay on that. And then you'll go ahead and stack your right leg on top of your left. So knees are right on top of each other. If that's no issue for you, you can tuck both knees in, and you'll sit super tall for Gomukhasana. So this is that same position we just made when we were lying on our backs. Great. From here, extend your left arm out. Turn your left thumb down and bring the back of your left hand to your back. So it's almost like you want to high five the space behind you. Now, from here, your right hand will come to your left elbow, and you're going to hug that elbow in. And see if you can sit a little taller through the spine, trying to open and broaden across the collarbones. And you'll just pause and you'll breathe. And then very gently, you'll release the right hand, you'll release the left hand. You'll go ahead and shift your weight back. Bring both feet to the floor in front of you. Bring your hands wide behind you, so it's like you're, I don't know, a waddling penguin. And your hands will be out about behind your hips, maybe 5 to 6 inches, depending upon your body. And you're going to bend the elbows, draw the elbows towards each other, shoulder blades towards each other. Start to press your chest towards your knees. Option to stay right here. Otherwise, push down through the feet, push down through the hands, lift the hips high. Keep pressing through the L shape of your hands. Press down into the big toes and lift your hips up for a reverse tabletop. And we'll pause and we'll breathe across the top of our armpits. Keep your neck pretty long by tucking chin to your chest and then only gazing towards the ceiling when you can keep the front and the back of your neck pretty long. All right, pelvis comes back to the floor and your legs extend long. You're going to take the same variation that you took on the first side. So in this instance, our left leg is going to cross over. So left knee is stacked on top of right. And perhaps that right foot sneaks towards your outer left hip. Right hand will come out to the right. Turn your thumb down and bring your hand behind you. Left hand comes to your right elbow. Draw the elbow towards the midline. Open and broaden across that right collarbone. See if you can sit super tall through your spine. You got 3 more breaths. Last breath cycle here. Very gently, you'll release your left hand. You'll release your right. You'll shift your weight back and extend your legs long. We have the option to take that reverse tabletop again, or you can extend your legs long and take a reverse plank. Hands will still continue to fan out to the right and to the left. You'll bend the elbows, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, and start to press your chest towards your feet or towards your knees. Or without blanket on the way. From here, you'll push down through the feet. You'll push down through the hands. You'll lift the hips high. Keep rolling your inner thighs towards each other. Keep pressing through the L shape of your hands and find a little reversed plank pose, Urdhva. You got 1 more breath cycle here, pressing through the legs, lifting through the sacrum, rolling the inner thighs down. And when you're ready, you'll lower the pelvis back to the floor. Then you'll cross your ankles and make your way onto hands and knees. I'm going to turn around. And then from hands and knees, we'll make our way directly to downward facing dog. So plant the palms underneath your shoulders, isometrically, so without moving. Think of spinning the eyes of the elbows forward by thinking of spinning the thumbs away from each other. Gaze forward. And then exhale, belly scoops in, hips hip lift high, and keep your knees super bent. With the knees super bent, draw your ears in line with your arms. Lift up through your inner armpits and wrap your triceps to the floor. Keep that. Push the hands down, push the shoulders down, and lift the hips higher. From here, scoop the belly and start to straighten your legs towards the floor. And I'm pretty hypermobile. You might not be that way, so if your heels don't reach towards the floor, or rather, if your heels don't reach the floor, no worries, we're working towards the floor. And you've just got 3 to 5 breaths here. On your next exhalation, you'll start to bend your knees and crawl your hands back towards your feet. When your feet, or rather hands, get back to the back of your mat, back of your space, back to your feet, you'll grab opposite elbow, and some of you will stay still, some of you will gently rock your head a little right to left, as though you're saying no, no, Nanette. Go ahead and come to stillness. Release your hands to the floor and then bring your hands to your hips. Draw the shoulder blades onto your back and then inhale, lift the head, sending the pubic bone, the tailbone back, coming to a halfway lift position. Slight micro bend in your knees if you need it. Keep drawing elbows towards each other, shoulder blades towards each other, and chin towards chest just slightly. Next in breath, you'll bring yourself up to vertical. Take your time. And then as you exhale, root down from pelvis, through legs, through feet. Release your hands and lift the gaze 1 millimeter up. Open the eyes if they were closed. All right, so for this next one, we'll take Prasarada Padottanasana. And you can use a wall if that will work for you. I'll probably show this in 2 stages, so then we'll have means. Start by widening your feet about, I don't know, outer hip distance apart. It depends upon your mobility. If you're pretty open in the backs of your legs, you want to walk your feet in. If you're not so mobile, you want to walk your feet out. All right. From here, hands will come to your hips. Pull your kneecaps up and press onto the outer edges of your feet. Lift up through your heart and draw the shoulder blades onto your back. As you exhale, navel draws in and you'll hinge forward, bringing yourself through halfway, all the way into Prasarada Padottanasana. Now your hands can stay right here on your hips or they can slide down to the outer edges of your thighs. Some of you will release your hands to the floor. You can either walk your hands forward away from your feet or walk your hands back up through your legs. But wherever you are, you're just going to take a few moments to pause and to breathe. Continue to pull up through the kneecaps, roll your inner thighs back, top of sacrum comes forward, and you're pressing into the outer edges of your feet. Let the neck be long. Very gently, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, lift your spine halfway, and then you're going to bend your knees. Wiggle, walk your feet in towards each other, so it's almost like you're back in that Uttanasana, because you are. And then you're going to bend your knees and bring your knees to the mat. Extend the tops of your feet to the floor and sit tall and pause. That was a lot of inversion, and so we want to give our vestibular system a moment to catch up. Nice job. All right, go ahead and grab your strap. If you don't have a strap, I think about will work. I've never used one. But we're going to try to make a loop that's about as wide as your elbows. So if you've got a standard strap, you'll take the tail through both loops. You'll go over the first and under the second, and you'll tighten it until you can put that strap across your forearms, and it's enough that your elbows can graze past your waist. I'm going to tuck mine in just a little bit. That's a little too much. Okay. And then we're going to try, I wanted us to get to a headstand. And because I can't see you, I might just show it once as a prep of something that you can do. And then tell you to please go find an in-person live teacher who can look at what you're doing and make sure you're okay. So let's do that. So the first thing that you'll do is, I have a blanket here just for padding. You don't need it. And actually, I might take it away just so you can see a little clearer and I don't have to worry about things. But I'm going to bring my hands. So if I were to grab opposite elbow, I'm going to interlace my hands, making sure my shoulders and elbows are in one long line. And then I'm going to come into a super rounded shape. I'm going to make sure you don't have anything on the crown of your head. But we're going to round it a lot. I'm going to round it a lot, like I'm in a happy, crazy cat pose. I'm going to extend one leg back and the other leg back, and I'm in this weird forearm shape. And then I'll start to walk my feet forward. So this is a first option for many of us, and it's called dolphin. And you'll just hang out here, and you're like, yep, That's where I'm at, lady. Let's stay there. And you're working to do all the actions that we did before. So my hip bones are lifting, my inner thighs are rolling towards each other. I'm pushing down into my elbows. Some of you will begin to shift your weight forward. You'll continue to walk your feet forward. And I'm pushing down in my elbows and my armpits so much. And I might lift one leg up, and I might lower it down. I might lift the other leg up, keep pushing through my shoulders, and I might lower it down. Some of you might be able to lift both legs up, low, and you'll hover here, and this is your prep. And then slowly, 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 when you've mastered this over time, you will lift one leg up, or perhaps both legs up towards the sky. And because I can't see you, I kind of don't feel comfortable going any further. So that's your prep. If you can work towards getting into dolphin and then putting the crown of your head onto the floor in that same shape, pushing the floor away a lot, that will help you get towards the later stages. Yeah, so we're gonna stop with that. And moving on. So let's make our way back to downward. Well, actually, let's bring ourselves to child's pose for a moment. And you'll rest. Arms alongside your hips and your heels. And you'll just take 3 to 5 breaths. And then gradually, hands will come underneath your shoulders. You'll bring your spine all the way up to vertical. And then you'll make your way directly to downward facing dog. So child's pose counts as an inversion. Heart is higher than head. Down dog counts as an inversion. Heart higher than head. Forward fold, Prasarda Padottanasana, headstand, dolphin. So that's all we've been working on. It said such practices are good for the immune system. It said they're good for stress as well as digestive issues. Not a doctor, so I don't know. Contraindications for that last pose include, not child's pose, but reps to headstand include neck or cervical issues, herniated discs, as well as ocular things. All right, let's go ahead and come forward into plank and we'll pause. Push down through the floor a lot. Lift up through your inner armpits and then see if you can wrap your triceps back. Heart reaches forward slower than you want to. Lower in one piece. Slower than you want to. Tailbone lengthens back. Slower than you want to. Belly pulls in. Slower than you want to. Chest, thighs, and belly touch at the same rate. Nice job, guys. Well, I can't see you, but I'm guessing you did a good job. And then you're going to roll over onto your backs. I'm in a comical mood today. Who knows? And then you'll find your strap. And now you'll bring your strap to the top of your hip bones. And I would encourage you to maybe widen it 0.5 millimeter. Maybe your elbows and your ASIS, anterior superior iliac spine, are the same. And maybe they're not. But you're going to put the strap across the belly of your thighs. And then once you're laying down, we're paying attention to this cervical curve here. We want to try to keep it as best as we can. So it's like you're pushing the third eye center straight down into the floor. Hands are alongside your hips. Draw your right shoulder up to your ears. Slide the shoulder blade underneath you. Left shoulder up, shoulder blade underneath. Now push out into your strap to lift your hips. Now once your hips are high, then press down into your big toe. Maybe walk the shoulder blade up and underneath a little bit more and press down into your palms. Press down from the third eye through the back of the skull into the floor and then take 3 to 5 breaths. Keep pushing into the strap, keep pressing into your big toes, lift your hips high. When you're ready to come down, untuck the shoulders. Bring the pelvis back down to the floor and pause. That felt nice. All right, Pull your knees into your chest, say sayonara to your strap once again. And this next one, it's a little bit of abdominal work, but it's necessary to get you there. So hands alongside your hips, pubic bone to belly button to spine. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Hug your legs towards each other. And then a little slight exhale to lift your knees towards your nose. Very slowly and with control, extend your feet towards the floor behind you. You might be able to tuck the toes under, and then you'll walk your left shoulder up, your right shoulder up. Bend at your elbows, hands come to the low back, fingers point up towards your sacrum, and you'll shift your weight back, arching through the back as you extend the legs up towards the floor. And we're doing a modified shoulder stand here. So my ankles are over my pubic bone, but my pubic bone is not in line with the chest. It's more at an angle. And I'm still pushing back from my third eye into the floor. And you'll want to notice if your elbows have splayed out. Mine have splayed out a little bit. So I'm going to walk them in. And you're going to hug them in. And you're going to reach up through the index fingers so that the wrists don't take too much weight. And keep pushing out through the big toe mound and pulling the fourth and fifth toes down as you lengthen the tailbone up and breathe. So we did a prep for headstand, which is considered the king of all asana. And then this is a modified shoulder stand, which is considered the queen of all asanas. And you're just gonna pause and you'll breathe. See if you can regulate and even out the breath. Continue to press down into the center of the head with your gaze up towards your big toes. When you're ready to come out, the belly draws in as the feet extend up and over your head. Once the toes touch the floor, hands release to the mat, and you're going to slowly, with control, lower the spine down, bone by bone, by bone, by bone, by bone, by bone, by bone, by bone. Awesome. Now, once your legs are back into that perpendicular position that we started with, you'll bend one knee and plant the foot on the floor, and bend the other and put the other foot on the floor. Now, here's where we'd like our block. You'll take a moment to just settle, making sure your three bones of the pelvis, so the ASIS, the anterior superior iliac spine, and then your pubic bone are parallel to the ceiling. From there, you'll push through the feet, lift the hips high, and slide a block on its first or second setting, highly encouraged, underneath the sacrum. And when you find that optimal spot, it kind of feels like your pelvis is an elf on a shelf, and it just sort of rests there. And then some of you will stay right here in the supported bridge. Some of you will push into one foot to extend the other leg up. And then you'll draw the belly in to draw its mate up to meet. And as long as that block is underneath your sacrum, it'll feel like it's in a good spot. And if it doesn't feel like it's in a good spot for you, you just come down and readjust the block. Three more breath cycles. Legs are active, feet are active. When you're ready to come down, you'll bend one knee and plant the foot on the floor. You'll bend the other knee and plant the foot on the floor. Stay on the balls of the feet for a moment. Squeeze your glutes a little. Pull your pubic bone, your belly button, and then lift your hips up. Remove your block and lower your pelvis back down. Walk the feet outside of your hips and let the knees knock in. And you'll take a moment to pause there. Reposition the shoulders if need be. And then very gently, you can choose to stay here. And just wrap your arms around you, giving yourself a hug. This is called constructive rest. Otherwise, you can walk your feet towards each other, open the knees wide like a book, and slide a block or a pillow, blanket, whatever the heck you got, underneath your knees. And then take a moment to make sure the right and the left hip are rooted, right and left shoulder are rooted, and the ankles are in a comfortable position. You can then either open your arms out in a receiving gesture to walk the shoulder blades together and the heart lifts, or you can plant one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. You choose what works best for you. As the body continues to settle in, notice where you can continue to release your weight to gravity, into the floor, into the props beneath you. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to check in, to notice what you notice. As you check in with your body, observe if there's any part of you that wants to linger in this shape for a few more moments, a few more breaths. If so, by all means, hang out here. Otherwise, you might start to invite movement into your fingers and into your wrists. If you stayed in Supta Baddha Konasana, your hands will come to the outer edges of your thighs. You'll close your knees together like a book, planting the feet on the floor. And then reach your legs long as you reach your arms alongside your ears. Go ahead and wiggle and yawn in any way that feels good to you. And then very gently make your way over to one of your sides, coming to a soft semi-fetal position. Draw your chest more towards the floor, pressing the top hand, walk the back left hand back, and then you'll draw yourself up to vertical. I encourage you to end your practice by sitting on something, maybe a block, maybe a blanket, maybe a bolster or pillow. And then you'll sit super tall through your spine. Your hands, I would encourage you to allow them to just face down for today. And just take a moment to pause and to breathe. If you have the time and you have the space, I would encourage you to spend the next 5 minutes or so just observing your breath. And you're noticing any of the bumps, any of the jumps, any of the rough spots in the breath. I will go ahead and leave you here signing off. The light within me honors and salutes the light within each of you. Namaste.